I knocked that motherfucker cold out. Period. And I wish he would, man. Come on, don't get me started about
Leonard Ellerbe said
I'm telling you, y'all be asking questions. Y'all can get that boy fucked up. I'm telling you, I don't play them type of games. See, they might do that over there. I don't play them type of games.
What do you think it is about Eddie Hearn and his crew that they're always bringing your name up? Eddie Hearn seems to kind of have a little
according to him, it's the other way around. Listen. He's a good promoter. I give him credit. He's a good promoter. He thinks he's a lot better than what he actually is. And to be honest, it's like he don't know what the fuck he doing. Like, for an example, this is an example, since y'all gonna go there. It's like their event they had last night.
Devin and JoJo?
Yeah. Okay. It has nothing to do with Devin. Because Devin and Bill are doing a very good job. And especially with what they're working with. But again, it's like they're fighting on a platform that nobody fucking watches. For start, that's one of the reasons why it's taking time to build his profile, because people don't even know who he is like that, other than the diehard fans. And again, it's no fault of Devin Haney, because again, I think he's a terrific fighter. But for an example, as a promoter, you plan a fight, and I think they might have changed the date, but you bring a fight to Las Vegas in a bigger venue than you had the last time, and you sold half the house the last time you was in Vegas, right? In a smaller venue. But you moved to a bigger venue. I know why, because they couldn't get no other venue. And guess why? Because they got the top comedy show that's going with one of the best comics in the entire world, and it's been that way for one. And as a culture, like, Martin Lawrence is dope. Like, you know what I mean? Not just only black people love him, but it's like,
crossed over.
But speaking of our culture, it's like Devin, he's an African American fighter. He has support, but again, it's like he's at a disadvantage. They plan to fight in the same damn day, in the same damn time as Martin Lawrence is. Does that make any sense?
Also, you had the rodeo finals, which literally every casino.
But that's a little different. That's a little different. That part's a little different. You can't do nothing about that. That's a different audience. But Devin's core audience, you know what I mean? All the people that I knew was going to the comedy show, because they've been waiting to see my Lawrence for like a year and a half.
Right?
Yeah, for a while, because we've been going through the pandemic. But guess what? He don't know that. Because he don't know what the fuck he doing.
Those are the words of Leonard Ellerbe as he goes off on Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn doesn't know what he's doing. He's good, but he doesn't know what he's doing. But I will knock that mother effer out. Don't play with me. They play like that over here. I don't play those games. You're going to get him hurt. Let me counterpunch. First of all, man, man, these content creators, these interviewers and stuff, these reporters, they instigate. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, obviously you can tell. You can tell that there's some animosity there. You can tell there's some animosity there because, I mean, he went quick to, like, the idea of knocking somebody out. I mean, he went right for that solution, right? That option. Like, I will knock a mother, and I'm like, oh, well, where, I mean, you went from, I still train, I still do this, I still do that. And then they were like, hey, you ever thought about fighting any other promoter? Then he says, I'll knock that, y'all gonna get him hurt. And I'm like, oh, okay. And the thing is, it's like these guys, these promoters, Leonard Ellerbe, I think the aggression comes from this. Leonard Ellerbe knows that that's his competitor in every sense of the word. And he's going to use every type of strategy, tactic to, promoters promote, they talk. So he's going to use what he knows. And what Leonard Ellerbe knows is his mouthpiece. He can talk. He's a promoter. He's been doing this for a very long time. But he also knows that, hey, he's a good promoter, but they're fighting on a platform that nobody effing watches. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, nobody watches the zone. So if nobody watches the zone, why are the numbers the way they are? See, the zone didn't even supposed to get off the ground in the U.S., and they know it did. They'll never admit that. They'll never tell you, hey, I got the zone. They'll tell you, I don't have that. I don't watch it. You know, but they're coming from another platform. Their platform is pay-per-view. It's always going to be pay-per-view. They're never going to be, hey, let me go. Those guys, Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellerbe, Al Heyman, those guys from the PBC Fox, they will never look at an app as the way of the future. And we all know apps are the way of the future. You know what I mean? That's why the zone weathered the storm, whereas things like Triller didn't. Okay, Triller crumbled because Triller had really no substance, really. The way they did it was kind of like a smaller venue, like a box, KO Boxing Nation or Showbox. It was a smaller one, but they tried to put so much money into it to make it bigger. Okay, but when you watch it, you think it's something that you watch at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon over here. Okay, so, but as far as the zone, he knows that the zone's numbers do well. And even if they do, they will make, they would have something negative to say about it. You know, but he mentions, why would they have his event of Martin Lawrence the same night? But then the rodeo, he's like, oh, no, well, that's a little different. Well, first off, rodeo is a rodeo. Comedy is comedy. Boxing is boxing. So why wouldn't he have that? He's saying, well, everybody I know going to the comedy show. Well, I mean, everybody that you know is going to watch your stuff. Okay? And they've been waiting to watch Martin Lawrence. Well, Martin Lawrence, you know, he is a famous comic. Is he bigger than Kevin Hart now? No. Now, had that been a Kevin Hart show, he probably would have had some, you know what I mean? But Martin Lawrence, he's in Vegas. You know, a lot of people come to Vegas that don't really tour other places. You know, Kevin Hart's the biggest comedian now, number-wise. Not from who you think's funnier. I'm just saying number-wise, because they're all about numbers, right? So number-wise he is. Well, in the rodeo, that's a different genre. That's why the comedy show is a different genre. A lot of people that will go watch a comedy show don't really want to watch boxing. You know, not saying they're all one and the same, but it's not saying if you want to see a rodeo. Really, you think rodeo is more physical. You want to see things of that nature, right? Action. You don't want to just see somebody talk and tell jokes. Those are all three genres. They're different things. So him, he's a promoter. He don't know about these type of things, and they're never going to talk bad about the fighter and criticize the fighter. They're just going to criticize the promoter. See, Eddie Hearn's in a territory where he's going to be blasted. He's going to be criticized. So it's going to be a lot of things of that nature that's going to take place, and as long as he's promoting black fighters, you're going to get this type of treatment from black promoters. Okay, so, but no, it's a trip, like I knocked that MFer out cold. I'm like, yo, whoa. I think that's a little extreme because it's like, saying those type of things only just, it only makes me understand one thing. Leonard Ellerbe will never work with Eddie Hearn. That's what I see straight through certain things. That's it. Leonard Ellerbe will never work with Eddie Hearn because of a dislike that has nothing to do with Eddie Hearn, right? And only has something to do with the person that has the problem, which is Leonard Ellerbe, and those fights, like Devin Haney could fight Tank. No, he can't. He can't fight Tank. He won't fight Tank. And he just really lets you know that we won't have Tank fighting those guys because the only person they really have is Tank. If Tank was on ESPN, it would be a little different. It would be a little believable because Bob will work with Eddie. Leonard Ellerbe is saying this because they're all talking about each other in comparison, but he's just telling us, that's his way of telling us, don't ask me about Eddie Hearn or Tank Davis fighting Devin Haney. Don't ask me anything about that because it won't happen. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Leonard Ellerbe being aggressive, threatening Eddie Hearn that he will knock him out Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.